Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, it does not matter what you drive. This is your all-terrain nation. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the happy hour. And if you're going to have a happy hour, you got to have a little adult beverage. But you also, we're going to have to bring in Bronco Sanda. We got
Hey, everybody. What's
Tim
going
with
on?
Overlanding for Fun is in the house. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, not much. Just another exciting day in the automotive world.
That's right, man. And there's things to talk about. And I've got a good interview coming up. Somebody from we've never talked to before that I'm going to bring in, and might be a fun chat. Can't see it on the board, hopefully. But yeah. So anyways, yeah, I have some things coming up that's going to be a lot of fun. But first off, welcome in everybody. If you're new to this broadcast, this is the happy hour where we talk anything automotive. I don't care, two-wheel drive, two wheels. I don't care, man. But the idea of this show is to sit around like I would sit around talking to my friends after a day at a press conference or something. We'd have a drink, we'd BS, we'd throw our opinions out there about what I like about an automotive, and they might, have opposite opinions, but that's part of the fun of this. And you're going to see more journalists coming in and, we're having fun that way. But we got big time right now with Tim. Tim, you, let's do a quick wrap up. You did the overlanding. You did the supercell with the Broncos. You had a blast, I'm assuming.
I did.
I'm assuming you got some content out, right? Or you have some coming out?
I got a little kid that popped in. That's what I got.
You got little content coming up. Okay.
Little content. Yeah, I actually
I'm going camping.
We are gonna go camping. Yeah. All right, buddy. You're a rock star, buddy. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Anyways, so we'll get to Tim in a minute, but I want to say hi to everybody, and let me see who else in the chat. YouTube Car Spotters guy, Justin's in the house in Peugeot. Terrence is in the house. Let's see who else we got going on there. Airplane Mike, Mobile is in the house, and the cast of characters are all joining in, and I do appreciate that. Tuesday nights, are the prime time, as it were. But there's Tim again. Here, we'll bring Tim back in now.
All right. And tonight's episode of All Kid Nation.
Yeah.
I did not expect him to come in so soon.
Well,
Yeah. Usually I'll be like 2 or 3 sheets into the wind by the time he gets in here, but yeah.
But so you content coming out for your channel on the Bronco event? What you got? Anything?
I tell you what, the big thing, and I've already put it up, a little bit of a long video, but it was the basically the cruise, out to Elkmont, there in the in the mountains, and it was a nice thing. I think 80, 90, 100 of my new Bronco friends went along with us, and it was a nice drive. As far as all the other content from Supercell, I think it was pretty well covered by everybody within, in our circle of friends that YouTube. So I'll let you guys take the lead on that one. I do have some footage from our trip that we took, the cruise up through the Foothills Parkway, which was another awesome, just nice cruise with some good friends and some great scenery.
Well, what's up, Adam? We got royalty in the house in my books. We got Mr. Aaron Powers, who I've done a lot of off-roading with over the years. What's going on, Aaron? So tonight, obviously, me and Tim wrapped up the Bronco stuff. I think we've kind of talked the event to death a little bit, but I do want to go over and check out Tim's channel when you get a chance, obviously after this, and go check out what he's doing. What's up, Dirk? But we there's some things I came to light this week, and Ford. We'll get into it. Let me pull the website up because it's kind of important, I think. Ford has decided that they're going to, it came out that they want to do something different with Sema. And, well, they're a big part of Sema. So it made some news for me. And it was a big part of my channel this week. So everybody that watched it, I do appreciate that. But it says Ford and Honda to pull out of the 2022 Sema show. Now, this has been updated, and we're going to go through the updates because I think Ford took a little bit of heat on this, Tim. And, of course, you've not done Sema, but you've been to Vegas. Nope. You know how the trade shows and stuff work. When a big manufacturer pulls out, that's kind of a scary thing to a trade show, right?
Oh, absolutely. That leaves a big hole on the floor.
or outside in Ford's case,
Oh, yeah.
because they always had the fun drift stuff. And I mean, they had a huge display. Ford, to me, had the biggest, they spent the most money at SEMA. They had a big chunk of the outside, they had a big chunk of the main hall, and they always brought it. So, which is funny to me because, I know they're working on some, they got some ladies lightning builds or something they're
Mhm.
trying to do, where if, what the spare tire holder is, you know more than most. But I will say that it's kind of strange because they have things in motion like that lightning build that they were doing, and will they continue that? Will they display that? Who knows? But Motor One's got this, and we'll go from there. So there is an update. And but I got it highlighted right here. It says Ford will still have, this is a quote from Ford. Ford will still have a presence at SEMA, but instead of our traditional displays, we will look forward to showcasing our winning portfolio of vehicles in select displays at the show and digitally online. We will share more details closer to SEMA. Of course, SEMA is quite a bit of ways, and I had to register last night as press. I had to register last night to get my place in SEMA. But that was big news come out this week that they were kind of pulling out. They were it's a cost thing right now. And of course, whatever you feel like politically, you're seeing interest rates starting to rise. Are we entering into a recession? Who knows? But these companies like Ford, they're definitely buckling down for some reason, Tim.
I kind of look at my industry in the IT industry. We do a lot of trade shows, and for the last 2 years, they've pulled back and did a lot of stuff virtually. Well, and for us, that's we can do that because we run those kind of platforms to be able to provide that
Right.
virtually.
Right.
But I tell you, the one thing, the common thread that I've heard throughout all of it is that people don't like it. People don't like doing these virtual things. They like to be in person. There's a lot of networking that goes on, and I could think of
Yes.
any industry in those face to face contacts. Not much different than just our trip down to Tennessee and
Oh,
meeting
sure.
people from all over the
Mhm.
eastern United States and beyond. And I think that's where I think Ford is going to see the most pushback, and Honda too, of their.
Well, so for me, like Ford's the big name of this. Honda
Mhm.
is Honda as a company is a strange thing for me because they really don't do much anymore. They build reliable little Civics and stuff, but we've seen the market share of cars is going to none. They don't really build a truck. I know the Ridgeline is a somewhat of a car truck, whatever you want to call that thing. And it's very capable for what it is. I'm not crapping on it, but as far as that, they don't do anything that aftermarket right now is going to just get super excited about. Yeah, you've got the new Civic stuff's coming out, but as far as you know, tuner fanboy is they need to be about the third owner of that Civic before they they can start doing much with it.
Yeah.
Um, Grandma that's buying that Civic to go to church, just back and forth to church once a week, she's not going out there and dropping a $1,500 in an exhaust and boosting up the bigger turbos and stuff. That's just not her play. But
You never
you know,
know. Do not discount grandma.
that's true.
Turbo grandma.
That's true. Like
Yeah.
Turbo Jesus,
Turbo Jesus and
Turbo
turbo
Grandma.
grandma. Don't be
But
dis
and in case you don't know, SEMA is not open to the public. A lot of people
Yeah.
I think get confused by this. They think, "Oh, SEMA, that's on my." I hear it a lot. Man, you're so lucky you get to go to that's on my bucket list one day. And I'm like, and I don't have the heart to tell them like it's not open to the public. It's really in press are lucky to be at the same because it is for aftermarket retailers to show here's what we got coming up or here's what we're selling. You know, uh vendors walk around to buy things and it goes from there. And it also shows the companies the latest and greatest what the company has kind of future planned. And there was always like the little fun concepts. Like last year, Toyota did the new Tundra, the kind of desert running concept that looked really, really cool. They got a lot of praise for it about, oh, they're going to take on the new Raptor. They're going to, finally somebody's going to take on Raptor. And it's like, no, it's, it's still Toyota. They're only going to
Mhm.
build conservative vehicles and go from there. But as far as SEMA in itself, like I think for manufacturers right now, this should be a little more scary than I'm kind of reading. I think people are just like, we'll see. And of course, Ford did have that response I read where they were saying, hey, I really do, Tim, think that is a oh shit response of like, whoa, people might be a little more upset than we responded. So we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna sprinkle some stuff around.
I don't disagree with that, and I think that I don't know because I've never been to SEMA
Mhm.
how big of a presence they had there,
It was
and
massive.
was it overkill? I mean, if you're limiting yourself to the people that can come to it, I mean, if it was a like the New York Auto Show or one Chicago Auto Show where you can bring tons of people in and show them all these vehicles above and beyond, uh, what you can see in press photos and then the YouTube videos, that's a great thing. But if it's a limited crowd, if it's a vehicle that doesn't lend itself to the aftermarket, is it something that they're going to want to bring there? Maybe that's the thing they're going to pull back on is
Right.
some of those vehicles like Honda, for example. If it's just the Civic, is that something that, I mean, third owner maybe,
Yeah, I
but
think for Honda, yeah, it's not a big deal. I think Honda was just thrown in as a tagline because I don't recall Honda having a big presence last year. So, but obviously Ford's going EV, and EV, far as aftermarket, there is no real aftermarket for EV right now. So, why go spend a ton of money if your priority is EV? Why go throw a bunch of money at this thing? And these shows are expensive. But here's the full announcement. It says, due to a change in corporate strategy, Ford and Honda will not be displaying at the 22 SEMA show. We appreciate their longtime support, and while many of us are going to miss their participation at this year's show, we are excited to see the show take on a new look in Central Hall. SEMA will continue to collaborate with both Ford and Honda on various SEMA programs, such as the tech transfer measuring sessions for 2022 and beyond. Now, that's from SEMA officially. But then Ford had a little rebuttal of, hey, we're going to sprinkle some stuff in. But I'll be honest, Tim, these shows are expensive. I mean, like
Mhm.
they are, you're talking, I bet it's probably 10 to 20 million dollars for Ford to do their displays there because they're massive. There's a lot of, like last year they had the Bronco display that you would have seen at the Chicago Auto Show where they were driving up the man-made hill and all that.
Yeah.
That stuff was expensive and it was nonstop. Like you signed up to get to ride, where they showed you all the articulation and stuff. And then Ford also had the drift pit where they had GT 500s out there. And I want to say they had 8 maybe GT 500s out there. And you would sign up for that. And they would take you riding in that car. They'd slam you against that door, man, drifting around and having a blast. And it's fun just to see them get out there and get it because sometimes it's the closest that anybody's going to get to certain cars. And while the GT 500 is not like hard to find, it still is to hear that supercharger wind and wind and wind. And the idea of being able to get out there and get into that's pretty exciting. And then Bronco Nation had a big, for Bronco, they had a big display out there. Well, they attached themselves to Ford's display, and Ford Performance had a fairly sizable display as well. But I think for Ford, obviously it makes sense that, they're stinging, all these manufacturers in auto world, whether we want to believe it or not, are still stinging from the 2 years of just kind of clusterfuck that we've been in,
Mhm.
honestly. And you can go in and go, well, they can't get parts, this and that. Why are they displaying things? You still have to show a presence. You have to say, hey, we're still a manufacturing company. So, and then last year was also the year of Bronco at SEMA. They were everywhere. I think somebody said there was 92, 95 of
That's what I
Broncos
heard.
there.
I think I heard 98, but
Yeah,
somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
yeah, and you're probably correct on that. But and I think this year is going to be year of Bronco. I think Jeep's got nothing exciting coming out right now. There'll be Jeep stuff there, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
as far as the new JL package, there's just it's kind of there. Now you'll every once in a while you'll see somebody hits a new idea of something and bring it into the show, and then basically Four Wheel Parts steals it and sells it cheaper. But I will say Ford had Leno there last year. They had Keith Urban that they had rebuilt one of Keith Urban's vehicles. He had, I think it was a Mustang, older Mustang that they rebuilt
Yep.
for him. And it was fun to see that. Me and Coder Man were at that
Mhm.
along with Kelly. We were there kind of watching that. And it was a really cool reveal. And then RTR had all their Broncos, their custom Broncos there. And I'm going to be sad that maybe that's not there anymore.
Well, I think first of all, we need to set to set everything straight. Ford could save a lot of money if they just brought you and I in as the entertainment
Oh, of
and
course.
ditch Jay Leno and
Jay who?
Keith, what's his name?
Yeah. The guy
Keith
that plays the
Bourbon.
violin thing.
Keith, Keith Bourbon.
Yeah, Bourbon. Ooh,
Okay.
wait. No, I
Ooh,
like that
hey,
guy.
there you go. Bourbon's my friend.
That's right. No, I think you're well, there's a cost. Let's not act like they just Keith Urban flew out there out of the kindness of his heart. They paid to have his car
Oh, yeah.
restored and they brought him out there and paid him
Mhm.
lots of money. The same with Jay Leno. But you know, SEMA being aftermarket, you would just think that Ford has a performance division where they want to showcase their parts. And hopefully they still have a little bit of something there. I know VW said, "Hey, we'll take their booth and we'll have fun with it." And now VW, you think Volkswagen, you're like, "Well, that's probably kind of boring." Well, not really, because under the VW brand, they have Lamborghini, they have Audi, they have a lot of cool cars that likes the limelight there, man. They like to be out front and center. So I think I'm kind of excited to see what Volkswagen may bring to that.
Now, isn't Volkswagen bringing the transport van back or something like that, and
There's the new EV
doing
van,
something cool with it too?
which that vehicle for an EV vehicle lends itself to aftermarket. So
Mhm.
that is a good vehicle that they could have there to, hey, because it's not due to in the States, I think, for till next year, but SEMA will do scans. They'll have a couple in their studio, probably late
Yeah.
fall of this year, and they'll get their scans in and guys get their little measure tapes out and they have fun that way. But I'm really bummed by it, man. And guys, I talk a lot of Ford, but I talk a lot of Ford because they are the king of the hill as far as manufacturers. I know you may be a Chevrolet guy and be like, whoa, 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 they don't, my Silverado, whatever. That's fine. But I hate to say when Ford pivots, usually all the other manufacturers tend to pivot. Ford, what was it, 17 or 18, said, we're done with cars, which was crazy because they still had a lot of cars on their website. And they're like, nope, we're done with cars. And I think it was last year they might have still had I forget what little car they would have had. And now it's gone. So they're just
The
done with that. They want,
Festiva?
no, not the
Is it
Festive. Uh, it's a little four-door car. I forget. Not the Taurus. It's been the same car. They just seem to change names a little bit. But guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think. And remember, and I haven't done it yet, but we're going to hand out golden tickets on the Tuesday night show. So if you want to email me over at allterrainnationmedia@gmail.com and just a little synopsis of what you want to talk about, you might get the golden ticket back, or you can be on the show with us and throw your point out there. So that hadn't happened yet, but I do like to throw that out there. Far as once again with Honda, that's not. I mean, I think brands like Honda and Nissan, they could be gone. Nobody would ever notice they weren't at SEMA. Nissan's going to have a big year though, I think, with SEMA because the new Z should be out. It keeps getting delayed, and people are like, "What's Nissan doing, guys? They just can't get parts like everybody." So why, maybe they're doing the smart thing, and why, unlike Ford with the Bronco, why shove something out to market that you can't get to market? So I think maybe they're having a little smarter time with their release. But I will say there's going to be some fun, Tim. I really do think there's going to be some fun, and I'll be there covering it. Me and Kelly will be out there covering that this year, bringing you guys all the our takes of what we see out there. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that content and watch that content, because I dropped a super build and price. I don't know if I have 100 views on that video, but last week was the week of Supra, and I wanted to kind of get that car out of the way.
Oh, Supra building price.
Yeah.
I thought you said a super building price.
Yeah, a Kmart.
I thought you were talking about that new special package that GM dropped today.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Mm.
Yeah, GMC's got something pretty Titanic out there. But let's see what's going on here in the comments real quick before we jump into another topic. But let's see. Dr. Detroit's in the house. Welcome in, sir.
I think I just saw Mark King said he would come on and talk about tactical kilts in outdoor off-roading.
I don't know if that was going to make the cut tonight, Mark.
Okay.
Bronco Wild Outdoors is in here. Airplane Mike. See, Airplane Mike's got a question. Do you think if SEMA opened up to the public for a few days, opposed to the last day, that Ford and other manufacturers reconsider? What do you think on that, Tim? I ask you this because you've not done these shows before, so you don't.
Yeah. There's always an interest in the general population, whether it's aftermarket stuff, technology, whatever, consumer electronics. I don't know, with it being in Vegas, if it was open, would it draw a lot of people? Would somebody go out to SEMA just to come in for the last day? I don't know. I don't know if he would do that.
I had a buddy here that did that last year. He flew out he got his golden ticket to go, and literally flew out there for a day on that Friday. He ran through the hall as fast as he could go to see everything.
But I think that that would be a limited. It may be definitely people that lived in the area.
Yeah,
if it was a short drive, as far as Los Angeles or whatever, that's what, 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours. But I mean, I think if they could do that, they would. I think you would limit your number of people that would fly in to Vegas just to go there.
I do think that it would deter the actual point of SEMA, though. I think that manufacturers don't want John Boy and Billy out there trying to get a picture of their ass in front of some car, or his girlfriend's. He's got Becky out there trying to lean over the car, getting, their Instagram pose while he's trying to talk serious manufacturing with somebody he's trying to buy $100,000 worth of parts. I do think that's kind of a deterrent. And you see, let me tell you, SEMA's not open to the public on the, and I don't know if they're doing the Friday thing this year. I assume they will, but there's so many people in that building that do not need to be in that building anyways, that seem to somehow get their little golden tickets, that there's almost a way you want to get there. There's somebody's pockets you can line a little bit for a pass.
I'm honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they even allow social media influencers,
they have a special edition for that.
YouTubers, if you want.
Hey.
To go. I mean,
no, trust me. If I could show you the application that I have to fill out every year, dude, they weed out. They do. I will say, and I don't mean to interrupt you on this, Tim, but because you are dead on with that. I have to submit basically a resume to go. I have to submit recent articles, why, what I would be talking about with SEMA, websites, my social media presence, YouTube. They want to know some stats. Like, it's pretty crazy. And I was told last year that about the whole you should just do the influencer program. And it's like, I'm not an influencer. I report on auto stuff. I'm not going down that path.
Safe to say you're under the influence, but not an influencer.
Well, currently, yes.
Absolutely.
But and then again, that's also how they see you as well. They may see me as that. I don't know, but I never approach it that way. Because there's certain, they have badges on your badges. Let's see. Damn it. It's going to be a nightmare to pull off there. I got my SEMA badge back there, but if you don't have video credentials, you're not supposed to video in there. Now, I'll be honest, as big as this place is, I would never know anybody to check anything. I was the one guy that had my mask off half the time in the building, like most people. But I had one police officer come up and say, "Hey, you need to get your mask back on." But I'm watching other people, like, they just randomly found me and was like, "Hey, that's my guy. I'm gonna put his mask back on." But so I don't know if they can't even keep up with the mask thing. I'm not sure how they would actually keep up with the credential part of it. But it's a nightmare to. I started last night in my application.
Speaking of credentialed, we have royalty, super royalty, YouTube royalty.
What?
Ford royalty in the stream tonight in the chat.
Is it YouTube Car Spotters Guide?
Oh, it could be YouTube Car Spotters Guide.
But we got Mr. Mitchell with Town and Country Ford in here, man. I bet Mitchell would be on it. I bet you'll be at SEMA. Now, Mitchell's a person that might actually need to be at SEMA because he sells aftermarket parts. And Mitchell, I have to say, sir, I tried my damnedest to buy my rear door bags from you, and they're not on your website. And I ordered it at like 11 p.m. the other night, and I would have texted you, but it was one of those things where I'm going to Moab in June, and if I didn't do it then, I was going to forget about it. So I had to go to a competitor, and I was pretty upset that I had to do that. But sir, where are the door bags? Anyways, Mitchell was, I have to say too, Mitchell was very nice and generous with his time talking to me. I didn't try to attack him like some other, people there. It's a vacation for him, as it should be. Obviously, he did videos, and he dropped one a little bit ago that was pretty good, talking about tie
I'm
rods.
liking those things, by the way.
Yeah, but I wanted to leave Mitchell alone and just meet him, and maybe we'll go down to Town and Country. But anyways, I tried to order from Town and Country. I've said it in the stream previously. I like to buy my parts from good people. So, Impejo says Dave is going to send it at Moab. No, Tim, you did happen to stumble across. You had a great reel the other day.
Oh yeah.
You made a lot of people happy with that reel, sir.
I find things, and I just try to document them for future generations.
That's right.
Just a documentarian. That's all I am.
Right.
That's all I try to be.
I will say that 2.3 point versus 2.7 race was I had that idea that I shared with that particular person way back last November, and somehow it got made into a video. I'm not saying Mitchell, but anyways, which seems to happen quite a bit with that person. So let's see, where are we at? Let's see. Mobile Moto says Town and Country Ford, or what? I don't know what he's talking about there. Anyways,
I did want to, while you're going to the comments, I did want to talk a little bit more about the I'm surprised that the influencers, the social media influencers, YouTubers in general, are at SEMA. And I think the one thing that kind of comes to mind, and we saw this in a lot of videos, is that some of these parts are, they're prototype parts. Mm-hmm. They're slapped together really quickly. Sometimes like as they're going out the door to head to SEMA, they're still putting them together. Oh, the welds aren't the best, booger welds, things like that, I think is what I heard last year. And I think that, I think not necessarily people outside the industry, people maybe not understanding that, and I've heard some people might still be building their SEMA build in the trailer on the way. Yeah.
Have you ever watched B is for Build?
No, I haven't.
Good. I think you would really like that guy's channel. Really, really cool channel where he's been doing a lot of, I haven't watched him in a couple months, but he was taking Lamborghinis and stuff, rebuilding them. He made one into an off-road Lamborghini. It was really cool, but he does SEMA stuff. He'll have his cars there. And he literally on about 2 years ago, or I guess it was 19, he was in the parking lot trying to finish the car to get it. He wanted to make sure it wasn't a roller. It needed to be dry. He wanted, because some of those, like you're saying, are rollers that they just roll them in and they roll them out.
But I think that some of that stuff, I mean, coming out to the general public, them not fully understanding the situation of maybe why the welds aren't so good or whatever, it was just slapped together really quickly, and seeing it. But I think on the flip side, maybe the manufacturers need to step up their game a little bit if it is going to be out to the public so soon.
Yeah, it might possibly cause them to do that. Mobile says, is that the person who rebuilt the FJ Cruiser in matte black? Yeah, it was bedlined, and that was one of his first things he did in just a tiny ass garage. And I have a lot of respect for that guy, man. Whatever y'all think of him is one thing, but I've watched that guy. He they all start getting money thrown at those guys that do that stuff, and the tool companies really, their shops get a lot nicer, but for what he's done with minimal skill and tools, it's pretty impressive to me. But yeah, I'm probably right, Tim. You're probably right that maybe it would cause some of these companies to step up. But I think some of the problem is especially like in the case of Bronco, was nobody could get them. So any manufacturer that they heard of a neighbor's cousin's uncles down the road that had a sniff of one. They were, trying to get their hands on it. So,
By the way, if any parts manufacturers would like to borrow my Bronco for SEMA for, I don't know, a small remuneration.
well, normally SEMA
I'm
builds.
available.
Normally, SEMA builds are usually one manufacturer. You don't have like 16 different manufacturers on them, so you might have
Well,
to
I'm
strip
just
some
saying,
lights off.
whichever one comes to the table
Oh,
quickly.
this
You know, whoever,
negotiations. I like it.
absolutely. I
I
mean,
like
it's
it,
there.
man.
It's available. I can come along with it too. I'll show you how to operate the switches, turn the radio on.
Yeah. No, Mobile, he definitely did have more energy than talent, but his talent is getting there. And he had hired a guy that could actually weld and stuff.
Is he talking about me?
No, he's talking about B is for Build.
Oh, he said
Go check out his
energy
channel
than talent.
sometime if you haven't. Give the guy another shot, man. I have a lot of respect for that guy. So just because like I can do things, I've rebuilt 350 blocks. That doesn't mean I'm good at it, because I can say I did it. Doesn't mean I have the skill set to always do that kind of stuff. I can bolt on many things like most people, and I can weld things. I just may not to be your standards.
The question is how fast can you do a lift kit on an Xterra in your driveway?
Well, I think we talked about that last night a little bit.
Yeah.
I could do a body lift in under 2 hours. I really could.
Mm-hmm.
The first one took me about 6 hours. Just scaredy cat of not wanting to mess something up.
Yeah.
And no, we literally, I had guys like a pit crew attack my Xterra, and they surprised me. I couldn't get body lift pucks. I was having issues getting body lift pucks on this thing, and a local company said, "Oh no, it's too dangerous." And I'm like, "Oh my god, you'll sell them for." If it was a Jeep, you would sell these guys these puck lifts. And I'm not always a fan of puck lifts, but for the first generation Xterra, it's kind of a necessity. And they surprised me. I had an event my first year. I was doing my event. I had a stock looking Xterra with these big 33-inch tires for that thing sitting in my garage where I wasn't going to be able to put them on there. And yeah, they attacked my truck, and I want to say hour 30 on that one. They had it done. I mean, obviously I helped, but after that, like there was a rhythm I could do those things too.
By help, did you mean you fetched beers or?
Oh no, I will get my hands dirty. That's a funny thing though.
Yeah.
You go in the videos a lot of times you'll start seeing Kelly out in the garage with me doing more stuff, and I will take heat. I guarantee you, going, do you ever do anything yourself? It's like, yeah, I'm videoing the freaking thing. Like, you know how hard it is to video, turn a wrench, be interesting. So somebody had given me crap. It's been a long time ago, but I was like, Jesus, man, you guys will give like keyboard warriors or go strong. But so Tim, I've got a lot. I mean, I've got parts to put on my Bronco, by the way. I got a lot of parts to put on that thing. But what was it? Impejo says sending it. Was that Dave racing in a tennis skirt? No, I would not do that. I would just wear the tennis skirt just for a funny video. Tundra Dude, what is up, buddy? Speaking of royalty, this is my buddy here, man. You have a beer fetcher. It's a must. Yes, you do need a beer fetcher. Tundra Dude, man, you go check out he did a live stream today. He's always doing these fun live streams. He's a player in the Toyota Tundra world, and he's told me he would be on the show at some point. So, and he doesn't like doing other people's shows. So, if you're into the
Toyota, I'm thinking there's no better time than the now. He is just a link away.
He may be at work, Tim. Yeah. Usually, some of these people we reach out to need planning.
Let me tell you, you're at work, just run into the stall.
Yeah.
Get on your iPhone. That's all you need.
Well, I want to say he works for one Android. Of the shipping companies, so it may not be possible.
You got to have a 15-minute break somewhere in there.
There's a union break in there, right?
Well, if that's the case, then he gets 3 30-minute bathroom breaks.
There you go. You got it planned out, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyways, but wrapping up SEMA, we'll see what happens. Do they actually, do they feel the heat of this? And from some of their dealers going, hey, man, I thought you were doing something for, SEMA. The dealers kind of kick back a little bit on that. Who knows? I'm excited that Volkswagen once again said, "Hey, we'll do something." They do have a pickup truck coming. Their partnership with Ford, so they do have their the iconic. I forget what they call their pickup. Even though our American version won't be the cool iconic version, but and there's that. So we'll be there. It's the 1st of November. Me and Kelly will be flying out there, and I'm sure we'll meet some YouTube friends and go from there. Let's see.
It just occurred to me.
Oh,
just occurred to me. Maybe Ford's just pulling back, just to pull back. I mean, you got to think about it. They got the hottest SUV right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the hottest EV pickup truck,
Yep.
the hottest small pickup truck. I think maybe they're feeling pretty comfortable. Maybe save a few bucks and make shareholders a little happy. I don't know. Maybe that's the thought process there.
Well, I definitely think they're trying to save some money. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't finish that thought, but there's definitely we've been kicked in the balls for about 2.5 years now, and we're going to have to prioritize how we do it. And I know Toyota is big on. Toyota's really backed away from some of the shows. They have a nice campus in Texas. They've got this killer center grassy area where they do presentations and stuff. They will fly in the media they want there, which is for smaller outlets kind of sucks because to get on that list is a nightmare. I know Tundra Dude gets to go to some of that stuff from Toyota, and it's just you're gonna be force fed the news by the people they want there to read to read the news. Much like our modern U.S. news, you won't really get it. You'll get bought and paid for opinions. I will say, not every one of them, but I will say that if Doug DeMuro is real big about he will not let manufacturers pay for his trips. He will do his own hotel. He will take his own flight because, and I do somewhat believe this, that when you're giving me a trip, and I've been on some of these trips, and some of these trips are freaking ridiculous. I know I did one with Nissan for the Titan in, what was that, 18? That I guarantee you I forget how many people there. They probably had 15 people they invited, press and enthusiasts to come in. That I bet they spent $500,000 on that trip. I guarantee you they spent that amount of money on that trip. It was ridiculous. So the idea that these manufacturers now can really choose who they want, you're going to lose some maybe some quality opinions by these manufacturers stepping back and doing it the way they want.
I think that it's an attractive proposition for them to be able to control the situation. I'm going to let you in on a term that we use
in the biz.
Yeah. Because I host some events, user type things, and we'll get people that show up just for the free lunch.
Of course.
Or the giveaway or whatever. And I'm really not interested in much of what's there, just it's something to do. We kind of derogatorily refer to them as plate lickers. They're just there to clean the plate. That's it. Nothing more.
They're like bootlickers.
Yeah. And so I could see, maybe some people coming in and
they do.
But they're just there for the free trip, and maybe I'll type up an article or do a video or something.
I did see that with some of the journalists that on my first Nissan trip I ever got to do with them. They were definitely there just for the to be on that resort, to go do the little fun adventures we were going to go do. They were not there. And a couple of them wrote maybe a paragraph about it, and that was it. And if that's the cost for companies like Nissan, especially if that's the cost to do business, there's no value in that for you.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be a return on your investment. And if you're inviting press out there, yes, you hope the press that you're bringing out does have influence over a certain amount of people to sway opinion. I would assume at some point, I mean, I've had a lot of people email me over the year, but hey, your opinion mattered to me on this or that. So it does happen. But I just feel that on some of these, like the last Nissan trip I went to, I was in Park City, Utah at this resort that was my room, Tim alone was $750 a night. My room. They had the
Yeah.
whole hotel out or resort out. Danny, who's on the show from time to time, he was in just one person. He was in a 3-bedroom, 2-story suite. And, they spend a ton of money to, and the food was amazing. All the stuff they sent us out to do in the Titan was pretty fun. So they do expect something in return. But when I do see some of these, it's just amazing that some of these guys just go there for the free trip and that's it. So I'll never do that. I'll go there for the free trip and to report on what I see.
I might take an adult cocktail or two.
Oh no, me and Danny shut the bar down.
And maybe some free food. I would take a nice steak, and some cold beer, and maybe a bourbon or two. I would say a cigar, but I don't smoke.
Yeah,
nothing against it. I just don't smoke. But so maybe I would sit in a room with some people smoking cigars, drinking some bourbon, after some cold beers and a nice steak.
Yeah,
but no potato. I don't like potato. Well, I like potato.
Wait, what?
Well,
this is breaking news.
I like potatoes, but it's carbs. It's just all carbs, and
I get you. I had to look.
I'd rather eat the meat. I'd rather eat the meat.
I try to be keto the best I can. I had macaroni and cheese tonight, so
I bet that's right up your. Yeah. Well, I did keto for a while, as you can tell from me being so tall, almost as tall as Mitchell Watts. Not quite there. The only thing I learned is if you're going to cheat on your diet, cheat with meat. That was my motto. If you're going to cheat with meat.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you.
There's a lot that could be said for that.
Yep.
Cheat with meat. Let's see. I'm trying to pull this up. I want to show a clip of this video so you guys get a feel for this is a funny clip. Hopefully it'll play. Let's see. Oh, me and Tim did figure that problem out, so that shouldn't be a problem. Share screen.
And don't forget to check the box.
Gotta check the box, bro. Got to. So this was on the Titan adventure.
All right, so Danny, the vegan. It just came across that you're the vegan, right?
Yeah.
Now to set this is in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at a museum, Tim, that they rented out the museum so we could have dinner there. So this is kind of what some of these press trips are like.
So what our listeners may not know is that Daniel's paperwork was filled out by somebody else, Holden, and Holden said Danny's eating preference was vegan because of his affinity
that y'all all.
But
have
that's
so.
Two people that are no longer with Nissan, Freddie DePrez and Wendy Orthman.
Really,
Wendy Orthman is a rock star. You're gonna see her a lot if you follow the auto industry. She's
tell you how much
Hyundai or Genesis head PR person.
I appreciate the fact that one, you love Nissan. Walk away feeling like
I know this is horrible skipping.
Oh, you don't do it now.
But they took us out snowmobiling. Let's see if it pops up real quick. They had a bunch of like influencers there. The girl that was just there, she was a fisherman. It was crazy. Like she was some within the fishing community that she was some big deal that way. So, but this is the kind of stuff that press do on.
Yeah.
What's this have to do with the truck? I wasn't saying no to it by any means. Don't get me wrong.
I've had an opportunity to do quite a few adventures out in Vegas, at trade shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I tell you one. I don't know if you've seen it. Dig this. I think it was what it was called. It was a construction site.
Oh,
plot of land was
with
open.
The equipment.
Yeah, they come in. They teach you how to operate a excavator or a bulldozer or whatever, and then they just go out there. They have a couple units lined up side by side, and a guy basically in a beach lifeguard chair with an umbrella and a headset. He can talk to you. He's kind of guides you through on what he wants you to do, and you get to have fun. And I tell you what, I came home. They were building converting the highway right outside of my my area here, and I was like ready to go over and talk to those guys and say, I got my certificate, man. Let me drive the back. Let me drive the bulldozer. I'm ready.
Right.
But
so
no, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff out there that
this is where I'm showing you is a cabin that they had 3 people in this cabin, and it's going to play right. And fully stocked with beer, whatever you wanted. And then my room had these bottles of vodka and Canadian whiskey just for me. Like the money, I'm telling you, the money they spent on this thing was ridiculous. Now, I did get to play with some fun concept vehicles. So there is the Snow Patrol. I got to drive. I put about 100 miles on that vehicle. Had a lot of fun doing that. Sorry, I'm just trying to quickly scan, and then they will give you their.
I have found great examples in nearly every person that I've had a chance to connect with here.
They will give their spiel, but let's see. And the dinners, man, like this dinner here. I think I got video of the plating was there is a chef that was I forget his name. He was on one of the TV shows. They flew him in just to cook our meals. So the money that they spend on this stuff, guys, is ridiculous. And that's me flying out, which nobody cares about. So yeah, these manufacturers will spend money. So if Ford and them are saying, "Oh, we got to cut back,"
I was looking at the comment you got there from Zachary Rogers, and I kind of just bypassed the comment. And I looked at his avatar there, and it says United States Navy radioman.
Let's see. Anglers Mobile Moto says yes, that she is an angler of sorts, but she's not. I forget I can't even remember her name. She was a really, really cool lady. But they had a rock climber, a professional rock climber as an influencer, and I don't know if like Nissan in general they were throwing darts trying to find somebody that they could put in a Titan. And got people excited by the Titan, but I don't think it worked out very well. If you checked out Titan sales lately. Next up, Tim, we're going over to the drive. We're going to take a drive to the drive, and my buddy over at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, Tim Esterthal, who was on this show, he talked about this article, and it did piss me off a little bit, and Tim seemed pretty upset by it, but it came out this past week that manufacturers think you're willing to, because of it's a loot box generation. They think people are willing to start loot boxing basically the apps in their cars, the features in their cars, and it came out that GM said that they think people are willing to pay up to $135 extra a month for services to activate things in that car. Did your Stinger have any kind of
nope
extra features?
Nope. The only thing that so mine came out in 2018. The only thing that wasn't available was the ability to remotely start the vehicle through the phone. Apparently that year in Canada they could, but the US models could not. Otherwise, it was a fully loaded, fully optioned car.
Right.
And I look at this. So I understand this is IoT. This is Internet of Things is really what this is. And people that have these newer vehicles, Ford, GM, all the manufacturers do it. They have a cellular data modem integrated into the vehicle. And all that data is going back to the respective manufacturers, and they're monetizing that data in the form of research.
Yep.
And that's what really chaps my ass when I see this. If there's a couple different things there. One, if I'm going to buy a vehicle with everything in it, I expect everything to be there. Now, I could understand a few things Maybe it's one of those, I'm buying a vehicle that doesn't have seat heaters and steering wheel heater or navigation, but it's in there because it didn't cost them really much to put it in. And I wanted to turn it on later. Maybe there's an argument for some kind of a monetization model there. But for me to use features that that are part of the vehicle, I find that offensive. And whoever that jackwad was from GM that they cited, he is a jackwad.
Yes.
I mean, that is short-sighted.
Alan Wexler.
Alan Wexler is a
Alan.
jackwagon.
And Alan, well, let's read this. So Alan Wexler said that he's previously General Motors Senior Vice President of Innovation and Growth. Alan Wexler said that the company's research indicated that consumers were willing to pay up to $135 per month on services for their vehicle. And by 2023, GM anticipates that 30 million of its vehicles on the U.S. roads will be equipped with some sort of connected tech that will help enable automakers to generate additional revenue between 20 and 25 billion from either one-time purchases or subscriptions. Now, for me, I think that's a bunch of bullshit is what I think that is, because I took some shit on this on a video I did almost a year and a half ago, where I was like, hey, you're not going to own vehicles before long. You're going to rent vehicles. And that's the path that this is telling us they're going down is you want the latest and greatest. And they've tried subscription services on vehicles. And for whatever reason, I know GM's worked with that at like 6-month periods to see if they could get people interested in that. I know other brands have as well. But it's coming to where you don't own the vehicle. You just sort of buy time in that vehicle. And I think, Tim, I really do think that that's where this is heading. And I see early adopters that enjoy this kind of stuff, but it comes down to where some of it is like, do you want that heated seats to work? Well, we can turn it on for you. Sure, it's in the vehicle that you bought and paid for, but you don't technically own that vehicle now. You're just leasing the options from us.
I don't know. Maybe that's maybe you buy the basic vehicle, right, for a much more reasonable price, and then do a la carte on your options. Maybe that gets us out of those 8 different trim levels on a Bronco, because you could just buy the Bronco and then option your add-on options, in a subscription model or one-time purchase. But I just think that I don't know. Maybe at some point, things that don't cost them money. There's that initial cost for whatever the pieces that they had to put in there. Now I could see things paying subscriptions for. I just saw in the comments XM or maybe a mapping program, but I think what was it, Toyota or somebody got about a bunch of pushback on wanting to charge you to use Apple Play or CarPlay or whatever.
Well, they were doing it for their app. So if you wanted to use their app to unlock your doors and all that, there was a fee associated with that. But no, that is coming. Tim with Pickup Truck SUV, he did a really good video on this.
He did.
He talked about, yes, oh, you want Apple CarPlay? Oh, sorry, we got to activate that for you. And I think Ford did this with Bronco. I think they were very smart about it. I think they gave us that app. They didn't charge us for anything about that app. Oh, I can turn my vehicle on and off. What they did was they teased you, because at some point they can shut that off if they want to. Or by 23, that's now a option that you have to buy. They're willing to throw it out for a couple of years to let you be the test mule for that. And then once they figure out people really are using that app a lot, oh, well, for $9 a month, we'll continue to allow that.
And here's my argument. They gain a bunch of information off of my driving.
Yes.
Now, I once again, I can see, I know it costs money to support all that, take all that data in, to process it, to analyze it. And that's a cost of their doing business, and they're monetizing, and that should pay for that.
Yeah.
I could see, once again, if it was if these are just basic services like find my vehicle and unlock my doors or whatever, and those kind of things, start my car up. I don't think that's something that raises to that level. I mean, they're using that same cellular modem, and there's a cost to that too. I mean, every one of those vehicles has to be on, I think it's AT&T's network, all across the United States and America for
Right.
that to work. It's not going to work in areas where there isn't cellular service. So if maybe out in, well, you need you need your car, your phone to connect to. But so there's that. Now I could see it if maybe I wanted to have the vehicle drive for me.
Mhm.
So I bought the vehicle, right? And I drive
Mhm.
the vehicle, and then, hey, for $20 a month, you can just flip on autopilot and it'll take you wherever you want to go. Now that might be a service that might be worth $100 a month or whatever, whatever
Ah,
that is. But for those general services, those
no,
basic
but
things.
here's the thing with the Blue Cruise and all that. That's that's federally mandated or it's coming. It's not
Mhm.
like that there, it's all in the name of safety. And this goes political or whatever. Usually every right is taken away from you because of safety, whether it be public safety or whatever. That's usually when things start getting taken away, and they're taking away your ability to drive a vehicle that you're purchasing. So if I'm paying the highest ever, the average truck price right now is about $56,000. They've went nuts over the past 15 years, all because of these tech features that they're being forced. Trust me, I think Ford and them would love to have a manual lock door, wind up window, and be done with
Well,
it. I think cost-wise, you could still have $26,000 pickup trucks, but all in the name of safety, we gotta have all these features. We gotta have pedestrian sensing and all this stuff, man.
So there's definitely some of that. My former father-in-law was an engineer at RCA, if anybody remembers RCA and the TVs that they used to make. And, and he was there 70s, 80s, 90s. And, you go from a television set that had a manual crank dial selector
I had
to
one of
push
those.
buttons. Right.
The
And,
plastic broke, and you had to get vice grips out there or pliers to change the channel.
or the remote control when we were kids was us.
Yeah.
They'd tell us to go change the channel. But all those things, every one of those things that they integrated, and the new technology they sold it as features, but it was just cost savings for them. And I think a lot of those things, power locks, I don't know, is it cheaper to put a power lock and an actuator in than it is to have a manual have to physically lift the button up and that thing?
Well, I think ultimately is it maybe not, but the problem is if 85% of the vehicles that you're selling already want that feature, they're trying to buy that feature,
Mhm.
then it is cost prohibitive to like the crank, because yes, the crank may be cheaper, but if you're weighing, how many you're selling versus, then it's not, it doesn't become cheaper. But
Well,
there
find
was
me a car that has manual windows in it. Do they still put them in there?
there are a couple. I know Nissan. I don't think Nissan does on their new one now, but their Frontier, you could still in their 4-cylinder version get manual crank windows. I think Toyota might still do a package that does that. I'm probably off on that, and I'm probably wrong, but I know for a long time that
For
those
the
are the
US market,
base.
or
Yeah, base
Huh.
base. You could get base features, which is Bronco guy. You think you want a base? Let's really get you a base. But let's see. There was a good. Well, so Mike has asked about trail maps on the Bronco. Yeah, I've asked that question a few times recently and get no response back on that one. Um,
is that
Mobile
supposed to
says
be
my
free?
first Ranger had 0 options. Yeah, my brother bought it in 1989. He bought a Chevrolet S10 with his intention he was going to put a V8 in it and do all this crazy stuff to it. He bought a base S10 that didn't even have power steering, had manual roll-up windows, came with no radio, and it was amazing what you could start. I don't need, you could get, but nowadays, no, everything's tech oriented. Like you were saying with so we all have Wi-Fi in our car now, and whether you want to use it, you could pay the subscription service to use that. Yes. But don't think it's not on. Like you were saying, Tim, they're constantly pulling your data, whether you agree to or not. It's the funny thing. If you think when you select no, there's an option to go, no, I do not want my information used. Oh, it's being used.
Oh, well, there's a difference between the vehicle's information and your information.
Yes.
It may not come up and say, you're parked at 1, 2, 3, 4 left lane and you drove to,
do you take a
5, 6, 7.
Do you take a right on left lane? Or
you can.
Left? Okay.
Make U-turns on there too.
Oh,
but
nice.
I mean, maybe that kind of data isn't tied, but the vehicle, they know from point to point. And if you don't believe me, open up your Ford app and take a look at your driving.
Oh yeah, they track you.
I mean, it tracks every bit of it. It knows when I stomp the brake, when I make turns too hard, or I guess maybe send it across the parking lot into a snowbank or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know how that gets recorded, but it's there.
No, it's sad to me, and it's sad to me that like we're saying, they can shut off Apple CarPlay it's a feature now, but all they're doing is getting you're sucking on the teat of Ford or GM or whoever car you're buying, and once you get used to that good times, they're going to shut it off, and suddenly it's going to be a paywall. And so recent survey says revealed that 75% of car buyers reported they did not want features to be locked behind in-car subscriptions, which goes against GM's research on the matter. Most consumers who responded to the survey said that safety and comfort features like lane keep assist, remote start, as well as heated and cooled seats should be included in the cost of the vehicle and not tacked onto a later subscription. Because it even came out that they're willing to shut your heated seats off. That would be a paywall. Even though your car has it, you have the button for it. They can make that a paywall. I don't know,
I feel like that there's a lawsuit there.
But
I mean, if I bought something that from the beginning, the get-go, that had heated, had an option in it, and they decided they're going to turn it off. Although, speaking of turning off, I did read an article where over in Ukraine, I think Mariupol, the John Deere dealership had something like $500 million in tractors or whatever it was. It was some ridiculously large number of 23 to 28, farm vehicles that were stolen, and
they shut them down.
They just shut them all off remotely.
Well, they asked Tesla to do that, and Tesla was like, no. And that's the scary part to some of this too, is we're in such a weird, I don't want to go political with this, but it's we're in such a weird, either you're one side or you're other. There's no middle ground anymore. Now it seems like your company, your favorite auto manufacturer may have some PC version or side they have to be on. And so depending on now who's in the White House, did they start screwing with Americans where if you put a Democrat in the office, this feature gets shut off, but then the Republican comes in, he turns that feature on, but this can cost you more. Or I feel like we're going down this path of
I think that'll come to a halt pretty soon.
I hope so.
And I say that just from the standpoint of keeping politics out of it. Becoming offended has become a pastime in America. And I think at some point people are just going to say enough is enough. And
I sure hope so, buddy. But I feel like we're sheep on some of this stuff.
Yeah. So you said they asked Tesla to shut down some cars. Were they cars that were stolen, or
no? In Russia, when Russia started all this stuff, they were being asked to if they would shut down the Russian Teslas, and they were like, "No."
I wouldn't disagree with that, because that's not in the case of John Deere. That was stolen property from John Deere.
Yes.
And that was a different story. Companies sometimes should just stay the hell out of things and not take a side.
I agree.
It used to be companies, and they probably still do it today. They donate to both sides.
Oh yeah.
They got to do business, right? So they would donate to candidates on both sides, and
it's kind of blackmail if you think about it. You got a price of doing business
it is the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, I do think though that this subscription stuff, I think they're going to try it. And, I think, especially within GM, that GM's always been full of a lot of yes men. That the higher ups they used to have committees after committees to get. That's why GM didn't innovate very fast back in the 80s and 90s, because they had so many committees to get the simplest thing approved in your car that some of the other brands just bypassed all that and would just do the feature.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of that way now with some of this. There's so many like yes men of like, they don't want to tell like, hey, that's probably not a great idea. And they're, the heads up are like, oh, there's profit there. We're going to be in the, it's going to put us out of the red. It's going to be amazing. And, people are, oh no, because I think corporate America is so out of touch with the common people with these buying of these vehicles anymore that you would say, okay, $55,000 for a truck seems high. And I do think that a lot of the tech and stuff that you roll into it, there's a cost associated with that. But now I think with this, the idea of people, oh, they'll pay up to $135 a month. Who put that price out there and said 135? How did they? I think that has an executive throwing a dart at a price and went, that's what the American people will pay.
And it could very well be that somebody, a family or an individual, would be willing to pay for $135 of stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's stuff for their car.
Yes.
It could be a subscription to Netflix and a subscription to some loot box, and and that money is spread across the table for various things, not in one spot. But I tell you, and I look at things like if you want to charge me for a bunch of services for a vehicle that I'm already paying a ton of money for, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy the vehicle.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to have to weigh that and see sales slump, because, the big thing in a dealership that I have found is that they just try to sell you a payment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's a percentage rate. It's all they care about.
They try to sell you a payment, and it isn't about how much money you spend on a vehicle. It's really not even much about the interest rate. They literally come in and what can you afford? All right, well, we can get you into
but that's
this
based on the interest rate.
Right? But they fudge.
They get so if you're getting a 5% interest rate, they're getting about a 1.5 of that kickback back to them.
But my point is at the end of the day, when they're coming in and talking to the customer, it's all about selling you a payment.
Yes.
Because you've already decided you wanted this car.
There's no negotiation. Whether you think you're negotiating or not at that, this is what I want to pay for that car.
But I think at the end of the day, if you tell me I got to go through all that plus an extra 100, whatever, to buy all these little nickel and dime things, people are just going to stop buying, because eventually the smart company will be the company that says, you know what, we're just going to throw all that in as one flat price. Here you go.
Oh yeah. Hyundai and Kia, they're lining up for that one.
People not Kia, man.
No, I'm just saying, but trust me, Kia there's a market for Kia. Oh, and it's a poorer person is their market. Now they're trying to start to upscale their clientele, but every Kia dealership, if you want to see where they're at, they're very predatory.
Well, they are. Well, but I would say that's the dealership and not necessarily the company, because I've had great luck with Kia.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad
dealership.
brand.
The dealership that we dealt with will never go back.
But
and
Kia
they changed
came out.
Hands. They changed hands from the time we purchased the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a week later, they physically got bought out by a larger auto group that sucks balls, and I won't name their name, but they're all over Chicago.
Is it balls?
And it starts with N.
Is it balls? Tell me it's balls.
No.
No, but
my point was those cars 20 years ago, they were shit boxes. They were trying to find their way as cheap as they could into the American market. And there's a place for those cars, because going back to the other side, this awesome GMC Denali Yukon Ultimate oh my God, is on the far end of the spectrum there. And I could only see the number of people being able to afford that is got to be pretty small. Mobile Moto, it's not Naperville, but Nape might be in the name. Assholes.
So, but no, like with Kia, Kia and Honda both were started out as a bargain, a cheaper version of Honda Toyota is all they were.
Yeah.
But no, I think Kia and Honda have really stepped up their brand over the past 15 years. But the truth is, there's a segment of buyer that they can barely afford that car. The lender then comes to them, that comes back to that. What do you want your payment to be? You're just negotiating an interest rate, if that, and then you go, well, I need $500 a month or whatever it needs to be. And okay, we can do that at 10 years because those payments are now coming. But what happens now with, say, they kick these subscription services in, but the poorer people can't afford that. So guess who comes to the rescue? Your government then starts subsidizing. They did it in the cell phone industry. They start subsidizing those. Oh, well, they've got to have this app. It's for safety. They need Apple CarPlay. It's for safety. And then it's just like it tangled even more and more into the government. And I know this show just seems to get political, and I don't mean to do that, but I just see this is it's a short-term cash grab for these manufacturers that have long-term effects that they are not looking at. And speaking of looking at, Tim, go ahead and finish your point because I'm pulling this up.
Are we talking about the EV?
The EV? No.
Tax thing?
No.
I thought you sent me an article on Toyota and they're hitting their ceiling on their tax credits.
I probably had you look at that, but that's just so you're a smarter person, Tim.
I can't get any smarter than I already am.
Well, you can try,
it's
right?
Genetic. It's genetic.
So GMC today came out with GMC introduces their first ever 2023 Yukon Denali Ultimate. And this mother is an ultimate, all right. It's going to be a six-figure car or six-figure SUV, but this thing, if you need the plushies, this thing's going to have the plushies, man. And from the look at that wood dash, the trim looks really, really nice.
Laser etched.
Yeah, all this thing looks just ultra plush. The seats on this thing, finally GM makes a nice looking seat. I know
it's got holes in it and everything.
Yeah, well, you need holes in your seat.
Swamp cooler on your buttocks.
But I'm sure it's got the GM's self-driving cruise system. It just doesn't look overdone. Sometimes these, like, you get in these Cadillacs and you're just like, Jesus, man, could they make that a little bit more large? But look at the Bose system here in the headrest, really nice.
I think Cadillac has always spoke to over the top gaudy.
I agree. I guess I would agree with that.
I mean, I remember some of the Cadillacs back in the 70s. It looked like they had grandma's couch for the seats.
Oh yeah. No, my dad had a
overstuffed cushions and everything like that. And
I remember when we moved to Tennessee, they had it's some 72, 73 Cadillac, whatever, DeVille or something. It was a boat. That thing, you could put your whole household in the back of that car. But yeah, no, I remember that back then it was baby blue. And I just remember everything about that being gaudy and just, God, it was horrible. But I will say GMC's really, they're really brought that brand over the past 25 years, man, how they've converted GMC from being a entry-level brand to you flipping it into it's a luxury brand. It almost makes you think, well, they don't need Cadillac anymore. I mean, yeah, there's a place, I guess, for Cadillac, but they seem to rival Cadillac in anything they do.
Cadillac, to me, has always been a car brand, just kind of like Buick was always a car brand.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you look at the Buicks of today, and they got one or two models, and they're those little crossover vehicles.
Yeah. Well, Buick's only around for one reason. You know what that is, right?
People like my parents who still drive Buicks.
No. One
they still
reason
drove Buick.
only: China. In China, Buick is the Cadillac for China. It's a weird thing. It goes all the way from World War II era, I believe, where that was the car that they had a lot of over there. So that's the high-end vehicle for the brand. So GM's, when they killed off Pontiac and all that, Buick was on the chopping block too. But old China was over there. They were really getting into that market going, oh, damn, they really love these cars.
Well, 4 billion people over there. That's a hell of a market if they've got money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, CNBC did a thing in about 2005. They did a doc over there because, China didn't have a road system. I mean, they had roads, but they didn't have a interstate system. So they literally copied. What's funny is America copied Germany's Autobahn, and then China ends up copying America's road system. But it was funny how they didn't know how to use the road system, that they would have these guys with their donkeys and wagons trying to cross the middle of interstates, getting run over left and right, because they didn't understand how the whole system works. It's a really good doc, and it's a little bit old, but it would be worth watching. But go ahead, Tim.
Oh, well, I think that even Cadillac, it's still a car brand. I know Cadillac has had some truck SUV versions of the GMC, but I think when you say those two names, I think cars. And I think that's why they probably have really pushed the GMC. Now, the one thing I never understood, as a kid, GM had so many different brands, what the difference was between a GM and a GMC, other than GMC stood for Got a Mechanic Coming. But I didn't understand. I was told that like GMC was the upper, the little fancier brand versus the regular just GM or Chevy.
Yep. Mobile is right. Chinese love their Buicks. They are designed now in China. That is correct. They've I want to say, I think that's the brand. They are only designed in China now. Zachary says, Dave, what documentary is that? I will try to look that up for you. It was a CNBC used to do really nice. I call it a doc, but it was one of their business deals, but it was on China getting their actual their infrastructure going. And believe it or not, it wasn't until the mid 2000s, early 2000s, somewhere in there, that they actually decided, oh, we're going to do all this business. We probably should have roads to get people from point A to point B. But back to the Yukon, I want to go over a couple things on this thing. 15-inch heads-up display in this thing. That's massive in your window. I will say, when I was in Texas doing, Lexus does a really good version of their heads-up display. Of course, Toyota gets it as well. Almost annoying, Tim. It was so clear. Like crystal clear. I remember back in the early 90s where they had the little reflective digital gauge that sort of showed in the glass, and it was never really great. This was HD in the glass, but it was almost distracting to the point of I was watching that more than I was really paying attention to the road. So I had to shut that crap off.
Yeah, I had heads up in the Stinger, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
But I turned a lot of the stuff off, so it was really just speed.
Mm-hmm. Did it do all the signs and all that?
It did, yeah. Turns. But I never used the turn-by-turn directions. I just used Waze or whatever through CarPlay.
Yeah. You're getting a 12-inch diagonal digital driver's information center. It's not a center stack anymore. It's just a driver's informational center. Laser etched authentic Pauldad wood. I don't know if that means it's just wood they found out in a creek somewhere or what. Available with the Super Cruise, which the Super Cruise, I will say, they do a really nice version of that. You can see in the top of the steering wheel there, that's a big thing GM likes to do, where it's like when it's green, it's working. It'll flash. It'll let you know if you're not paying attention. I do think they have a really good version of that. You're getting Alpine umber interior full grain leather seats. 16-way power massaging heated and ventilated front seats. And doing time in the Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit L Reserve Edition, I will say, if I could afford having massaging seats in my car, I would have this. It's so nice, Tim. Like it really was Very, very nice. You're getting the metal badging in the seats, and who can say they've getting metal badging in their seats?
I don't know how I feel about metal badging. I like the
Flashes?
idea. I like the concept of the speakers in the headrest,
Mhm.
which isn't a new concept, but you
Not
usually
at
find
all.
that in the aftermarket, not necessarily in.
Nissan was doing that in the Juke, I want to say.
Yeah, but I don't know about the metal back there because I would
It'd be
think
cold in the
that
winter, wouldn't it?
cold in the winter, hot in the summer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, nothing like branding yourself in your Denali.
absolutely.
You
I
leave
think
the
you can have the word
sunroof open.
at least put ultimate in backwards. So
Yes.
when it tattoos on
That's
your
the
back,
ultimate flex, dude.
it brands you on your back.
That's
It's at least readable.
you're waiting in line. So you're at a high-end restaurant. You're standing with your lovely family. You're just standing there waiting for you waiting to put your reservation in, and some dude comes up and goes, "Hey," he gives you the old fist pump, and you know what it is. You've been branded the
Absolutely.
ultimate GMC. So yeah,
Mhm.
that would be the ultimate flex, I think.
I've never experienced massagers in a seat, so I couldn't
Yeah.
speak to that. But I had leather
Mhm.
seats, all leather
Mhm.
seats,
Yeah.
and I had the I call them swamp coolers. Um,
The tramp stamp.
yeah, absolutely. The cooled seats, I don't think I was ever really a fan. I literally
No, literally, it's just a fan.
I just I feel like I felt like I had swamp butt sitting in this seat with this cooler running.
Yeah.
It I don't know, maybe we'll see how it goes with the marine grade vinyl and the Bronco this summer, uh,
I anticipate it'll be a little hot.
but
I do anticipate that.
I never really used it. Although I'm looking for Mexican blankets from Tijuana that I can make into seat covers to put
Oh,
over
I was gonna say there's a lot of weird things in Tijuana. I don't want to know what else you need down there.
dude, I'm a Tijuana kid, man.
Cigar Texan 1836. I love the weird. You guys know I love the weird super chat numbers, but for the bottle fund, last night we started the fund for the new best top fund.
Mm.
I do appreciate all the love there. So yes, that does help quite a bit, sir. And I still haven't finished off the whiskey you give me. That's a special treat. There's a couple that I've been given that are special treats, much like Honest is Blanton. It's only a little bit taken out of this, and it's because it's if you know what that bottle cost, it was ridiculously expensive, and so yeah, that's my sipping whiskey. But thank you, sir. Thank you for that. But you're getting 18 speakers. Jesus, man, how many speakers does a vehicle need anymore? Pretty much. I mean, 18 speakers back in the day when I was a kid, putting sound systems together would have been like subs everywhere. Like you couldn't have sat in the vehicle for speakers.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that's a lot of just specifically placed tweeters to fill in holes.
Oh yeah,
You
got to fill in holes every once in a while, Tim.
Just because that damn cabin is so big.
Yeah, I'm sure it sounds great though. It's actually tuned,
Oh yeah,
and
well,
it's not the B&O sound system. I'll say
B&O
that.
and the Broncos tweaked too. Well, I tell you what, I don't complain about my B&O system. I think it sounds pretty good.
I think people complain enough for you. You don't have to. That's a weird
No,
flex.
That's true.
I don't complain because people will.
I don't have to complain because people complain for me.
That's when you know you're big time. When you just think it,
I'm big,
and they do
big
it for
pimping.
you.
Big pimping.
That's right, man.
One of the upsides of being a YouTube star like we are.
Don't put me in that
where
category.
Ford is going to.
You're the star here.
Where Ford is going to get us to come out there and present for them at SEMA this year, and we get to do fun stuff like this
with Joe Ford.
Joe Ford.
Yeah,
I thought it was Bill Farley.
Oh yeah, Bill Farley.
I don't know.
My God, I can't believe they. Anyways, yeah, I need more drinks to be dirty or nasty. So, anyways, I do. It's a nice vehicle. Don't get me wrong, but Tim, this thing, I bet I don't think I read anything about the
Have they
pricing.
released a? Yeah, I was gonna say they just announced this today, right?
Yes, yes. I'm
And
sure it says at a later date.
and I,
Usually,
and I believe our friends over at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk
they did a
also
video.
did a video.
They did.
Although I think this was not planned because if I heard right, I think both Tim and Jill were in flight to an event
Yes,
when
San
this thing got
Diego.
released,
Yeah.
and maybe it was their video editor
Okay.
jumped up, and I don't know if he was at a hotel on the beach or if
Well,
he's
he
big
lives
pimping.
on the beach.
So he's big pimping on the beach already.
Of course.
I
One
see.
thing I've noticed about this is their main press release photo.
Yeah.
What's more lit, the house or the vehicle?
The house, of course.
Who took this photo? And who
They don't
approved this? That's it. That's our photo.
That's Mystique.
I don't think at $100,000 we need Mystique. I mean, obviously, yes, you need a house that looks like you're a millionaire kind of thing. You're selling a image, but I just feel like maybe a little more light on the vehicle, just a little bit more.
So you think it's gonna be over $100,000?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think I went to their building price, and the model available below this was it about 78,000?
Yeah.
90, yeah. So maybe close to 100. I mean,
yeah.
especially with massaging seats and
Yeah, that's the Hummer edition for the massaging seats. As Danny would say back in the day. Danny loved talking about massaging seats. He had a thing for it. And he sings songs about oil changes too, which is very strange. I gotta get Danny back on here. I gotta know what Danny's up to with his racing. Let's see. But to kind of wind down on that thing,
yeah,
it's gonna be freaking nice. As soon as I can get my hands on one to do a walk around on that vehicle, I definitely will. I like GMC a lot right now. I like if I had to choose Silverado or their version of the truck, I'm choosing the GMC all day long. Denali especially, ATX4 package. I love that, getting a little bit of a hot rod version. I don't think they've gone all Z72 on their packages just yet, but that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I honestly haven't really kept up with GMC.
Yeah. Well, you're not a GM guy, man. You're a Kia guy.
No, I'm not even. Well,
you're a Kia guy, dude. Don't be ashamed of being a Kia guy.
I really do like the Stinger. I'm
do
very
too.
disappointed that unfortunately that just BMW guy, Audi guy, they just didn't adopt it. But I tell you what, the guys that I know that drive those things, BMWs out, is good guys I used to work with. They've secretly driven Stingers and they all like them.
Well, Doug DeMuro had one for a while. Loved the thing. Didn't I? Yeah. He had it for not long because he made money on it when he got rid of the thing. So
I made money on mine when I traded mine in.
Yeah. Speaking of which, can you do that for my Jeep?
What do you want, man?
I just want to get rid of my Jeep. That's it.
I can come down and negotiate.
Okay, nice.
I like to negotiate.
Winding that up, great vehicle. Can't wait to see it. So there you go. And that's the weekend news so far this week. The Jeep's going up for sale. It's going to get its last little walk around and point out a few things that I'm impressed with and a few things I might not be impressed with. Put almost 9,000 miles on that, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have at the time 4 vehicles in the driveway, it's hard to put a lot of miles on each one of them. But we've had a lot of fun in that. We did a couple of family vacations in that Jeep, but I'll do a fun little video to send that off. I still want to do I got this time last year I did 24.1 miles per gallon in my 40 mile an hour or 40 mile loop. I'm curious if that'll get better. We got a lot of things on that board about to happen, man. Where's that? Oh, building price on a Porsche. It's gonna be fun. Nobody will watch that video, but I don't care. Some of these videos I do, I just don't care. They're for me. I want to do them.
The algorithm.
Yeah, it's to make the YouTube gods happy.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim, whether it be 2-wheel drive, buddy, 4-wheel drive,
or a 6-wheel drive.
I'm not there yet. It doesn't matter what you drive, though, guys. It's been your All-Terrain Nation. I appreciate all the super chats tonight. Thank you for Mitchell stopping by, the celebrity he is. Clearly, the celebrity, though, is Tim. So don't forget that. When you need a fire lit, Tim is your beacon. He's ready to. What was that? The beacons in Lord of the Rings. You're the beacon. They like the beacon to let the people know. So that's the show tonight, guys. I do appreciate it so much. I'm trying to finish up a Kia video. Literally, that's how ironic that I'm trying to finish a Kia video on an EV6. So that's it. Good night. See you Monday, maybe. Maybe see you sooner. So, peace.